his agent and his father is quite clear. The intention is to leave now, so let's see what's going to happen. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. 1 Hour Sports here, as always, to keep you posted on the transfer market. Today, fellas, we touch on Khvicha Kvaratskhelia, big story around the Georgian winger, but also something to say on Xavi Simons, Levi, Colwell, Manchester United, the meetings, what happened with Erik ten Hag, finally spoke in public, and also something else on Chelsea. Let's jump into it together. And so guys, big things happening, as always, on the market. While at Euros, many things are happening on the pitch, off the pitch, for the market, many things, as always. Because the agent and the father of Khvicha Kvaratskhelia, both of them, in the same interview in Georgia to Sport Imedi, just announced that the plan they have, and both of them, remember this part, say that they are still waiting to talk to Khvicha Kvaratskhelia. So, this is a statement of the father and of the agent. But both said, still waiting to speak to the player, but they said, we want to leave Napoli. The plan is to leave Napoli. The agent of Kvaratskhelia mentioned that the decision is expected to be made after the end of the Euros. He said, after the Euros, we will discuss with the player. Now full focus on the Euros, but we want to leave Napoli. The idea is to leave Napoli. And then, the father of the player, also speaking to the same media, in the same moment, he said, it's going to be a Khvicha decision, but my feeling is that it's uncomfortable to stay at Napoli. Both of them mentioned the Champions League, the intention to go and play Champions League football next season. The agent of the player also mentioned that maybe staying at Napoli one more season would mean to lose one season in Champions League football. So, he said, I'm sure Napoli will be ambitious now with Antonio Conte as a manager, but we would still lose 1 year of Champions League football if we stay at Napoli. So, strong statement from the agent and the father of the player, waiting for the player to say his position in public, because at the moment, Kvaratskhelia has not spoken to any media, has not published anything on his social media accounts while I'm talking. So let's see the reaction of the player. But meanwhile, the agent and the father go very strong on this story. What's the situation behind the scenes? So, guys, let me say that on Kvaratskhelia, what I'm hearing is that Paris Saint-Germain have always been in the recent weeks and months the strongest team in terms of showing interest. Paris Saint-Germain informed Napoli about their interest already weeks ago. Paris Saint-Germain had more than one contact with the agent of Kvaratskhelia. So Paris Saint-Germain are looking for a player in that position, a winger, and Kvaratskhelia is one of the players they have in their list. He's not the only one, but for sure he's one of the names they have on their shortlist. And for Paris Saint-Germain, the position is very clear. The interest is there, but it's important, obviously, to understand what Napoli want to do. And in the last month, the position of Napoli has always been super strong, especially coming from the president himself, Aurelio De Laurentiis, who always told the agents of the player that his intention was to keep Kvaratskhelia, and then he offered a new contract. There is already a new contract proposal ready from Napoli for Kvaratskhelia. It's an important contract, an important salary, the possibility to include a release clause into his contract, maybe leave next summer 25 or in summer 26, so giving him an exit for the future. But at the moment, the position of Kvaratskhelia, via his agent and his father, is quite clear. The intention is to leave now. So let's see what's going to happen with also now a strong manager like Antonio Conte involved in the situation. Let's see what Napoli will say, what the president De Laurentiis will decide to do. The contract proposal is right there. But it's also important to mention how now the player is the crucial part of the story because Napoli have this contract ready. Napoli would make an important contract proposal to Kvaratskhelia, but now for the player, after the Euros, it's going to be time to make a decision. Paris Saint-Germain are still interested. Paris Saint-Germain know that the situation around Khvicha is depending on the player. And let me say that in the last year, there was also interest from Premier League clubs. So, Paris Saint-Germain for sure the strongest, especially in the last 5-6 weeks, but also interest from Premier League because several Premier League clubs have sent their scouts to follow Kvaratskhelia this year at Napoli, and also last year when he did a fantastic win in the Scudetto. For example, Chelsea have been in attendance many times for Kvaratskhelia, but they are mentioning Champions League. So let's see what's the point about that one, because obviously Chelsea this season are not playing Champions League football. Let's see if some other club could enter the story, because I'm hearing also other Premier League clubs are keeping close eye to the situation of Kvaratskhelia. But at the moment, what's important to say is that Paris Saint-Germain for sure have his name on their shortlist. Meanwhile, guys, we also saw finally Erik ten Hag speaking in public after the confirmation of him staying as Manchester United manager next season. He spoke to Nos Verbal Studio speaking in the Dutch media as a pundit for the Euros, and he confirmed that he's in negotiations with Manchester United over new contracts, something we already told you here on the channel for many days. So talks ongoing between Ten Hag and Manchester United over a new deal. He said we still have few details to clarify, so it's not done yet exactly what we told you here on the channel. But also Erik Ten Hag said Ineos needed some time to decide on the manager. They are new into football, so they wanted to take their time before deciding on the manager. But he also added they informed me about the meeting with other candidates, especially with Thomas Tuchel. So basically confirming that Thomas Tuchel had a meeting with Ineos. Thomas Tuchel was the closest to getting the job. Then Tuchel on his side and Man Utd on their side decided not to proceed in talks. And so Erik Ten Hag said at the end of the story, they felt that they already had the best manager possible already at the club. And so they decided to confirm Erik Ten Hag, but it was mentioned in the meeting. So Erik Ten Hag was perfectly aware of these secret meetings taking place at Manchester United. This was part of the review for Ineos, so always checking all the options, checking all the possibilities. And then at the end of the story, making the best decision for what they believe is the best decision, keeping Erik Ten Hag at the club and offering him a new contract now. So Ten Hag aware of these secret stories behind him. Let's see what's going to happen also, guys, with Xavi Simons, because it's not something that's going to be clarified now during the Euros. The player wants to be focused on the Euros, but after the Euros, Xavi Simons will decide on his future. And let me repeat what I'm telling you in secret. This is the position, this is the situation. Xavi Simons is expected to leave Paris Saint-Germain. Yes, I'm still expecting him to leave because now there is still a chance for him to stay. But the expectation is for Xavi Simons to leave and to leave on loan for PSG, not to sell the player, but to let him go on loan. Bayern are still pushing with the director Max Eberl, who is the man who signed Xavi Simons for Leipzig 1 year ago. But also Leipzig are still pushing to keep the player at the club, even if Eberl is no longer at the club. Leipzig are still pushing to have Xavi Simons for one more season with Benjamin Sesko, with an ambitious project. So Leipzig and Bayern really pushing, but let's see if some other club will go to Paris Saint-Germain and try to sign Xavi Simons on loan deal because PSG are not selling him this summer. So for Xavi Simons, decision time expected after the Euros. Important decisions to be made for Chelsea this week. One of them is going to be also on the striker John Duran. There are negotiations still ongoing between Chelsea and Aston Villa. And then we get a lot of questions on Levi Colwell and Chelsea, with many links for the English centre-back. The position of Chelsea, guys, remains very clear. They believe that Levi Colwell is untouchable, and he's a crucial player. He's staying at the club. This is the position of Chelsea. Then, if anything has to happen, it has to be from Levi Colwell to tell the club that he wants to go. But at the moment, Chelsea don't have any message from the player. Fully focused together on this project and believing that Levi Colwell is a crucial player for the future project they have in mind. And so, guys, let me know your thoughts on all these stories. Khvicha Kvaratskhelia, a big story. Which club should go for him? Or should he stay at Napoli? Let me know your opinion here in the comments. But also all the rest, with Man United and the Ineos negotiations ongoing over new contracts. But also John Duran, Levi Colwell, Xavi Simons. I wait for your opinion, guys, here in the comments. Like this video, turn on the notification bell and subscribe to the channel. See you soon.